Wow. Great. Great mic stand. Great. This is called an arm, by the way.
It is?
It's called a mic arm.
Wow.
When it's just standing up with what we do stand-up comedy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mic stand.
Mm.
This is called a mic arm.
A mic arm.
So watch out for punches.
Wow.
They give a shot. Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Look to your left.
Oh, God, what? This?
No, this.
What? This?
Look at it.
Oh, God, what is it this time?
Look at it.
Look at it. How about smell it?
Smell it.
What is it?
Open it.
If you tell me it's something...
Look at it.
What is it?
It's hot cocoa.
But from where?
Maggie's Donuts.
And they made it, not you.
I didn't touch it. It's hot cocoa, Maggie's Donuts, behind Trejo's Coffee, which they ran out.
But not with your weird Hollywood, like soy milk,
No
koala
soy,
oil,
no
like
koala-
bean milk,
No
like
bean milk.
almond joy grease, like
None of that.
Mordorf.
Look at it. Smell it. Put your nose in there.
It smells all right. But
Ta-
last time when you tried to poison me, it smelled all right.
I tried to do a fast one on you.
Is this another setup?
No. I wanted you to be happy. I like it when you're happy.
Why are you got this twinkle in your eye?
Because I know that cocoa makes you happy.
Yeah, but last time you made this concoction that not even Dr. Frankenstein could have conjured up. Like it was full of like fafanza beans and teriyaki juice.
No,
and,
it was bone.
Yeah, bone marrow, hyena sauce.
I'm not kidding you.
The way you're looking at me, it's almost like... little odd.
Just take the lid off and smell it.
I just took a sip.
It's 100% hot cocoa from Maggie's Donuts. You can look it up. I got it for you. If you don't want it, don't drink it.
I'm just suspicious that I'm going to drink it, and then at the end you're going to go surprise.
I wouldn't do that to you. It's illegal.
You wouldn't?
No.
It's illegal?
Yeah.
It's illegal to cocoa trick someone?
Yeah, you can't do that.
You can't cocoa trick a player.
You can't be putting bone broth in someone without them knowing they're getting boned.
See, just the way you said that
I know.
has my hackles up. Like, you know when dogs meet at a dog park?
Yeah.
I have about 23 hairs on my spine. I'm not Armenian,
Okay.
but I got a hairy back.
Mm-hmm.
And they just went up when you did that.
Your back always looked not that hairy.
I know, but when you get
I bring out the Armenian hair.
you made them go up because I feel like I'm on guard.
I feel like I messed up last time, so I tried to redo it for you.
If murder is messing up,
You're alive.
I know, but it was close.
Take the slurp.
You don't slurp hot chocolate. You only slurp like pop because it has the carbonated bubbles.
Is there anything else you slurp?
Just pop. Because when you slurp pop, it foams up in your mouth if you slurp it.
And you wanted the foam in your mouth.
You want the foam.
Yeah.
It's like you're having the joy of pop, but then foam pop. Okay, I think this... But see, I don't know if you bought it at Maggie's Donuts, but then went in your kitchen and did an eyedropper full of like zebra meat
mushroom,
or
like a mushroom
walrus
names.
juice.
Yeah, or like pigeon
Something.
Sweat. No, I didn't do that.
So it's perfectly
100%. I did not touch it.
You didn't tamper with
Maggie's Donuts on Highland in Santa Monica.
It's not bad.
Okay, and it's you. It's all American. You love this country.
Yeah.
You love hot cocoa.
Well, hot chocolate, cocoa. You don't really say cocoa.
Well, you don't really say pop.
Yeah.
We say soda.
You do.
Everyone in America does.
But no one says cocoa. What are we in a Swiss chalet in the Alps?
So we say, "How would you like a little cocoa?"
Would somebody please get in the hot and chocolate and cocoa, please? No, little, need the hot cocoa, please. No, little.
Buddy.
Wow, the echo in here is good.
It's good, right?
This is good. This is a good room to yodel.
It's a great yodeler room.
I did it as a gag, but I'd come in here and yodel all night for you.
You'd be a night yodeler.
I'll be a night yodeler, a day yodeler, a dawn or dusk yodeler. 24, 7-Eleven. I'd yodel on top of a 7-Eleven, but it's Hollywood. I'd probably get shot instantly.
You know what? You were just telling me off camera
Oh, here we go.
of how you are proud that I bought a house.
Oh, dude. Well, not just a house, a gorgeous house. Do you want? Can I talk about
Of
it?
course.
You bought a gorgeous house.
Knock on wood.
It suits you.
I feel like
Sometimes you walk into someone's house and it's a nice house, but it doesn't necessarily fit with their persona.
Did that happen with somebody you know?
A few people. I'm not going to say names.
But what happened?
They bought a beautiful house, but it doesn't line up with their energy or their style.
Mm-hmm.
And this lined up perfectly with your style. It's sort of modern but homey, sort of nouveau. And it just, I don't know, it just felt, the second I walked in, I was like, yeah.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
Good for you. Congrats, dude. Is this your first house?
No, I had another one before. I lived in Los Feliz, sold it, made a little cash. But it was too east.
Yeah.
I used to live below you, but I lived in the flats.
Yeah, you don't want to live east.
Yeah, it's too far.
Too east.
But here's what I love.
This is the West. We're in California. Why would you move west only to live east? That's counterintuitive. That's like moving to Florida, but living in the north part of Florida. Like you move south only to live north?
Yeah.
What are you, dumb?
I know. You're in the northest part of South Florida.
Hello, Google Earth on line 4. Hello.
Yeah.
I moved to the West Coast to be in Cali, and I'm living east.
I'm living by, yeah.
Hello, Google Earth. Now he's on line 2.
It's online too.
He jumps around. A lot of geography.
Wait, so I wanted to say that you love California like I love California.
Oh, yeah, I love Cali.
And
I love it for various reasons, though. There's elements, there's increments, there's spots, there's regions, there's all kinds of layers to California.
Tell me one.
Well, I love the weather.
Mm-hmm.
I love the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I love the geography. You know, California, if you live in L.A., in about an hour and 15 minutes, you can be in a city of 11 million people. And in an hour and 15 minutes north, you can be in the high desert.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can go east and you'll be in the snow and Big Bear. And you go west and you're in the ocean. And you got desert and mountains and rocks and everything in between. You got forests. It's really cool. There's so much here. So geographically, it's great. Weather-wise, it's the ultimate. No humidity. Great weather.
We love it.
Yeah.
I love it. You love it. I'm never going to leave.
You're not?
You're never going to leave.
I wouldn't say that. I don't think I like the way you just sort of ordered me around.
I didn't order you, but you told me you're never going to leave.
When did I ever tell you I'm never going to leave?
Off camera.
No, I didn't.
You
You
told
just
it
made that up.
No, you
okay,
told me
what's in this? Now you're controlling me.
Yeah, you don't like to be controlled. I'm never controlling you.
No,
You're
I
gonna
never
leave?
said I'd never leave.
Well, people are.
When did I say that off camera? You're fantasizing.
I thought not today, but I thought I heard you say you'll never leave California.
Nice cover.
I thought you said you'd never leave.
When? What date?
I never
June
wa-
4th, 1986.
87.
19 years ago. I remember you said,
So you would leave?
yeah, if the right circumstances arose. Like, I love it, but I feel like life is a mystery in motion. So to say I would commit to a place in perpetuity without knowing
It's true.
my journey,
I know.
like if something happened where, I'm off to, Thailand,
Yeah.
or now I'm living in Bermuda, or here's an opportunity in Moscow,
Yeah.
I'll do Moscow on a midnight Bakersfield minute.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll roll, like I'll go anywhere. But for now, it's here.
I was just trying to say that you love Cali like I do because
Yeah.
it gets a lot of bad rap lately, and I just don't think it's right.
Yeah, it's not right the way that, a really beautiful place. What are you talking in terms of it's not
You're
right?
a Canadian originally. I'm
Yeah.
from Philly, but I'm from America. You're from Canada. This was the jewel of the United States.
Right.
California, and I feel like it's getting trashed.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I bought this place is because I do travel a lot, and it feels like a nice little fortress.
Yeah.
And I can have like my home base. But I like you, I want to end up in Phuket or someplace.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'll always have a home base here. And I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, LA, all this shit. And this is where I was raised. This is what we made our lives on.
Yeah.
It gave us everything. Everyone who you see at the top of the hill, most of them start at the bottom. It's the place where dreams are made.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so I just feel like everyone's shitting on it. And you're one of the rare people I think that really loves it and respects it.
Well, I like I said, there's layers.
Mm-hmm.
So there's areas I love, which I just stated, and there's areas that I loathe, like the politics and the way things are run.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have this paradise, this jewel, as you put it, and it's sort of been run into the ground. And when you and I walk around in the streets, it's far from a jewel.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like a pawn shop imitation old lady's necklace.
It kind of is.
And someone's got to get the brasso and rub the tarnish off of the whore.
I know.
It's like it needs to sparkle again. Like,
hello,
is. Aladdin on line 5.
California.
Shine that thing up again.
So California is a way. It's a pawn shop necklace.
Old lady's necklace.
Imitation brass. No, it's real brass.
No, it's a real jewel, but it needs to be, it's lost its luster, it's lost its shine, its sparkle.
Yeah.
In certain areas. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can never take away the geography, the weather, and the people. A lot of the people are amazing, you know? But I just don't think this state has been managed and governed well.
I know.
And I think you could do way, way better. And I think there's a lot of things that just don't make sense. And
tell me one that doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, you look at, we pay taxes.
Like a mofo.
Like, I think we pay the highest taxes in the country.
Mm-hmm. And
taxes are supposed to ensure that you have nice, safe roads and nice, safe neighborhoods and nice, safe trash collection and a solid police force where you feel you can rely on them and call them and they'll be there. And there's just so many of these elements that are neglected and, in fact, ignored, like trash and graffiti and violence and defunding police in some cases. And it makes the city a mixture of real beauty and real almost like, like a ghetto, like a slum. But it's not, it used to be in the days when sort of the slum areas were dedicated to a certain geography. But now it seems that sort of almost seeped into everywhere, where it's omnipresent throughout the city wherever you go. And and it's not a dig against people who are less fortunate because, everyone has their ways and means in life, but it's a dig at the people managing it that they're not putting everything in its right place and cleaning it properly and maintaining it. And so it's needs work, needs help.
I was driving out of Gelson's. And there was a guy sleeping. This is no disrespect. It looked like a pile of like some trash.
Yeah.
And like a blanket. And it was close to the entrance, but it wasn't. And I stopped and get out and it was a person.
Dude, no word of a lie. That happened to me 20 minutes ago.
No.
I stopped at the gas station at the corner about a quarter mile from your house to get those Twizzly corn chips, the spirally ones.
Yeah.
Because when I eat them, I like them to twirl down so I don't have to do as much work.
Yeah, they go right. Okay.
Right. They burrow down, they twizzle down, and this thing.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
And exactly what you described. There was a guy laying right there by the right at the side of the gas station, and it was just like not just a guy, but surrounded by rubbish and I'm not defaming the guy. I actually felt really bad. It just you feel sympathetic, but when you live in a city where they say they've dedicated something like I don't know the number, but it's in the billions to the homeless problem. And in all the years I've lived here, I just haven't seen the needle move unless I'm missing something. You really wonder what's going on.
It's moved to the worse.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's never been worse.
Yeah.
If you walk between La Brea and Highland on Sunset, I welcome anyone to do it. It is Zombieland.
Yeah, it's
House of the Dead, but they're alive. You ever play the video game House of the Dead?
I haven't.
Go play it, and then
Okay.
go to the Chick-fil-A, get the 10-piece nugget with the fries, and a small sweet tea. And then I want you, Harlan, to walk.
Yeah.
From there, that corner, all the way down to the Raising Cane's.
Yeah, no, look, I've seen it in
It's
pockets.
insane.
Yeah, and it's a tragedy because, we're not just talking about a problem, we're talking about a living, breathing human life.
Yeah, they sleep. I mean, this is so sad. They sleep everywhere. I'm like, you have to be so careful.
Yeah, yeah.
People are sleeping anywhere.
Yeah, it's
And with $20 billion to homelessness.
it was 20 billion?
I think so.
I knew it was a big number, yeah.
But you know my facts.
Yeah. But, and you wonder, like, have they built housing? Have they made I don't know. It's
A lot of it was, misappropriated. Just like the fires, with the
Right.
fires.
yeah.
Do you know why we didn't have gas and water in the reservoir? One of the reasons?
One of the reservoirs that was meant to use for firefighting.
Mm-hmm.
What was the reason?
The Smelt.
The Smelt?
Mm-hmm.
The fish?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think you're talking about further up north.
No, it was one of our reservoirs did not have water in it. Something to do with the Smelt.
Yeah, so that problem stems from further up north. I think there's a small species of fish called a smelt that permeates the water system up there where they cut off the flow to farmers, and I think in doing so it cut off some of the flow to the reservoirs in the Palisades.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Palisades reservoirs are more isolated, like big pools.
Maybe.
And I don't think those inhabit the smelt.
There's
from what I
something
know.
with the Smelt.
There's something, this is something that's been in effect for decades, where they've limited the amount of water for agriculture over the grapevine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's impacted the farmers up there because they're not getting as much water for their irrigation in order to preserve this little smelt.
California's conservatives blame California wildfires on the Smelt.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Because they've limited the amount of water.
So they did have to do with the Smelt.
Well, it was probably a factor. I don't think you can...
called it.
Yeah.
Related to the endangered Delta Smelt affect how much water can be pumped out of the fish's habitat in Sacramento.
Yeah, further north.
Wow, you called it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's crazy.
Well, that affected some of the water flow coming down from the north, but the Palisade had its own reservoirs of water.
But they didn't have
And some
any.
of those huge reservoirs that carry hundreds of thousands of gallons of fresh water, they're not attached to an ecosystem where you'd have fish
I
coming
know.
in.
So why were they?
They're just holding tanks for water specifically, probably for firefighting. And several of those, from what I've read, were completely bone dry because they were doing repair work on them or some such thing right in the middle of fire season, which again goes back to what we just talked about. Somebody's not managing things properly.
Not to be punny, but it's a little fishy.
The smelt? Yeah, something stinks. And smelt is the past tense of stink.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be punny, I'm coming right back at you.
I'm with you, but the thing is...
don't get punny around me. I'll play your game.
No, you're punnier. But what I'm trying to say is...
Okay, I'm not trying to be punnier. I'm just trying to return the volley.
I know you are.
And I think I did.
You did it great. I'm just trying to talk about the smelt.
I know.
And then you don't want to talk about the Delt.
whoever smelt it, Delta it. Because you said it was the Delta.
It's a Delta Smelta.
Yeah.
That's what it's called, the Delta Smelt.
This is getting punny.
I know.
This might be the punniest podcast ever.
Right? Wait,
wow.
The line of the day is polish the whore.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't come from being...
So you just said it. I got to say this again. Will you do that so I can take this as a clip? California is what, Harlan?
Well, you already have it.
I know, but I want to do it. I'm not laughing at you. It's a whore.
But I don't like to repeat because then it's inauthentic.
I'm kidding. Relax.
It doesn't have the same energy.
I agree with you. It's done. It's gone.
But I don't say the H word, whore,
often
or as being derogatory to women or whores or whatever that word means.
You are so funny. You're like me now on your pod.
Well, it came from anger. No, I'm owning that I said whore.
Nothing wrong with saying
but
whore.
I said it very impassioned because it came from anger. It's like when you stub your toe, you go, God damn it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so angry that this beautiful state is being so mismanaged that the whore was like it was like an impassioned, come on.
Yeah.
I didn't just go, well, it's dirtier than a whore.
No, yeah.
It wasn't elegant. It wasn't the God's good English.
No, it wasn't. But
it was like raw and unfiltered, like channeling anger.
And I'm here for it because I feel that you're basically saying this beautiful young lass, which is California, has become a dirty whore.
They're somewhere around there. Yeah, you're dancing all around it. But whore's just like sort of a derogatory term of anger.
Yeah.
Like it's like I could have said it's becoming a piece of crap.
Yeah.
But I don't know why whore popped into my mind, but it's just there's something ain't right, and I don't like it. But
the tanks are being empty, and you know me.
Yeah.
You know I like to go down the rabbit hole.
Wait, what tanks are being emptied?
Those tanks, the reservoir tanks.
They're being emptied right now?
No, they were empty.
Not all of them.
But there were some of them that were bone dry that you just said.
Yeah. During fire season, which is ridiculous.
Before we went into our pun land,
do
you think there's something a little odd about that? Like, potentially, it was on purpose. You don't have to jump in.
No, I'll jump in. I love it. I don't know the answers, first of all.
I know, but you're very smart.
But I would say...
Got your hot cocoa.
I would say no.
Wow.
Because I think it's just stupidity and negligence. I don't think there's anything deeper. I just think it was stupidity and someone doesn't know what they're doing. Because if you dig into it where you say somebody purposely drained those reservoirs, then you're looking at a world where somebody maliciously wanted a whole neighborhood to burn and thousands of people to potentially burn alive and die. I don't think anyone, no matter how corrupt they are, is that sinister. That's how many houses were lost? Was it 3,000 or 6,000 or something?
Yeah.
It was a huge number.
It's insane.
Filled with families and children and pets and belongings. I can't imagine someone in a political office somewhere's going, okay, if we don't fill the reservoirs, we can burn 20 square miles of dwellings and hopefully kill at least 40 dozen families. Like, it's just too, I mean, who does that? That's Hitler talk, you know what I mean? Like, I just think it's not that deep. I think they're just idiots and the wrong people are in the wrong positions and don't have the intelligence or the wherewithal to manage what they've been handed. It's like you do movies. You ever have a director and they were way out of their element?
Oh.
And directing a movie's a big thing. There's a million moving parts, and you're watching this director and you're just going, wow, this guy doesn't have a clue, but he's still directing the movie.
Mm-hmm.
All the pieces were put in place. He has a contract. Somebody gave him a vote of confidence. Someone let him direct. And he's going to finish the movie, and you know it's a train wreck, but I've been in a few like that, and you just go, wow. And that's what happened here. Somehow the wrong director got into the director's seat, and they're not paying attention. They're not good at what they do.
But it keeps happening.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, it's weird. We used to live in a world when I was younger where politicians, were always sort of grown-ups. They seemed to be people that came from backgrounds of lawyers and teachers and professors and kind of like real sort of steadfast occupations that required a deep education. I'm not saying all of them, but most of them came from business acumen, or you just felt that the people running the government were
competent,
a lot more competent and had a lot more deeper layers in terms of education and social awareness and competency. But now, you know, you look at the landscape of people in politics, and you got everything from a big old fat guy to someone with purple hair to a transgender person to this person to that person. And some of them are competent, but it feels like about half of what we have now, it's like, here's a bartender. Here's a guy who ran a car dealership. Here's a guy who used to ride a horse. Like it's just...
Just because a person's transgender, though, doesn't mean they wouldn't be a good politician. We're gonna say
no. I'm just saying. I'm
you're
not
saying
saying
all
that.
different types. Yeah.
I'm saying there's such an assortment now.
Yeah.
A transgender person could be the best politician ever,
Yeah.
or the worst. I'm just saying the landscape of politicians has changed.
Purple hair, bartenders, AOC.
Oh, AOC.
Purple hair is the other guy in Minnesota.
And by the way, that could be on any side of the aisle, a bartender or whatever. But
yeah,
I'm just saying across the spectrum, it feels like the level to get in the door to be a certified, genuine politician running a city, managing things, doesn't require the credentials that it once used to.
Yeah, you used to look at these guys and go, wow, they're really like in charge. That's
that's
a professional person.
Right. You sort of got the sense that, you know, it wasn't perfect, but you felt there was sort of a unity in where politicians sort of came from and what kind of ilk they were. And now it just feels like the doors are open, and you'll see someone get mad who's runs a squash court. It's like, oh, I want more handicap parking. I'm going to run for, Senate. Next thing you know, like someone with no qualifications or real background. It's strange.
That's happening across everything.
Yeah.
That's happening in our business.
Oh yeah.
Like, I was talking to a comedian that and Paul Rodriguez.
Oh, yeah, Paul, yeah.
A legend, and he used to be the valet, one of the valets at the store. And so one of his big things was he got to park Richard Pryor's car, and then he became his driver. But just at that time, it was Bob Saget, Robin Williams, Jim Carrey just coming in. David Letterman was the host. Every name, Elaine Boozler, Sandra Bernhard, Roseanne, every name you knew. And it was completely a different time.
Well,
and now there's more comedians than ever. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, well, in fairness, back then there was a real narrow pipeline for comedians to get through.
1,000%.
So for guys to emerge through that pipeline, there was very limited ways to expose yourself to the world as a comedian. So it was really a world where the cream of the crop just were the ones that got birthed through that pipeline.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh, it was amazing. And now we live in a world where just about anyone can burst through the pipeline via social media.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to be a guy that will never, ever criticize any comedian, any way, any kind, no matter how they get here. Because A, if you get here through that way or that way or that way, and people, it's not about the method or the style they get through. It's about, do people accept them?
Mm-hmm.
And I believe in comedy. If people accept you, if you hear people laughing, which is your job to make, if you hear people laughing, then you've done your job.
Yeah.
And I can't look down or bemoan anyone trying to do comedy. Yes, there's a hierarchy to comedy. There's levels where people who are undeniable, like Robin Williams, who's like a genie out of a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's quieter people, there's sillier people, there's stupider people. But it's interesting because with the way it is now, with that pipeline wide open, more people get through. It's more competitive. There's more product, but I never want to be in a world or in a room where other comedians are talking down or, demoting other comedians. Everyone has a chance. Everyone has a shot. Everyone has a voice. And if they make the room laugh, good for them. Even if it's inside, it might not be my taste. There's some big guys. George Carlin wasn't my taste. Richard Pryor wasn't my taste, but they were huge. But a little guy who no one's ever seen, I saw a guy at the Laugh Factory one night in Hollywood, a Japanese guy who barely spoke English, and every punchline he had was the word rice. He'd talk about his family. He goes, my mother and my father, and they got the thing, and the rice. Every punchline, and at the end of his act, I'm not kidding, this guy was unknown. You're already laughing. Like, if I told a Richard Pryor joke, would you be laughing right now? No, you wouldn't. But this guy's closer, he goes, everyone in the audience, pull out your lighter. And everyone pulled out this lighter, and he started going, purple rice, woo, purple rice. And to this day, it's one of my favorite. I've been in the business 40 years. I've seen 3 million comedians. Yeah. That guy's a nobody. He came and went, but he's the guy. And I just say, if you make someone laugh, I don't like going online and seeing other comedians try to control the narrative and say who's good and who's bad. Because we're all worthy, we're all good. Whether you make it on 1 minute to kill Tony or you struggled for 40 years, however you get there, you get there. That's art. Art has no rules. Art has no recipe book. Art is just a running free stallion, and it does what it wants. And if it lets you get on the ride, then you're blessed, you're lucky, and hopefully you can bring your gifts, whatever level you may be at, Purple Rice or Richard Pryor, you give it to the people, and that's the beauty of it.
First of all, I have to say a couple things. I'm so with you. That's why I wanted to ask you.
Oh, good.
Of course I'm with you.
No, I didn't imply that you were not, but
I'm with you.
Yeah.
And it is fascinating how many, like you said, it used to be the pipeline was this, and now it's this.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing cannibalism, and it's really upsetting to me. Comedians that are literally being critics of other comedians. That's what
I was just
implying. Like you said,
yeah.
That's weird. I wouldn't say anything about an open micer or when I was an open micer.
Yeah.
I barely look people in the eyes. Like if I see somebody that's focused, and I don't bug them. I know you, but like if I see somebody that's really big, I won't bug them unless they say, "Hey, what's up, Jamie?" Because I respect them.
Yeah.
But it's a wild time. People are being cannibalistic, and that's weird to me.
Yeah, if that's what they want to do and that's how they're wired, they can do it.
It was never like that. Yeah, of course, but I just think that's odd to talk about it. Just do your stuff and don't worry about it.
Yeah, I find it's I'm not sure where that stems from, but
online.
Yeah, it's online, but I don't know where it stems from within people to put down others, and they're entitled to. I don't want to control that narrative either, but it's just this crazy world of opinions and thoughts. And
when you were coming up, if you had Twitter, because you don't do it now, would you have gone on and said something about the comic before you?
Never.
Exactly.
Never.
Me neither. I wouldn't to this day.
I think there's an old saying: if you don't have anything good to say about somebody, don't say it.
I know.
And there's no real upside unless someone like violently hurt your family or stole from you or damaged your name then you're allowed to fight back. But to just out of nowhere lash out at people, to me there's no upside to that, but to some people maybe there is. But
okay, was Purple Rice real?
That's real. I'm not kidding.
Who is the guy?
He was some Japanese kid. Jamie put him up on stage. Jamie, the owner of the Laugh Factory, and I think I saw him about 4 times. And I would beg Jamie, where's that kid? Put him up.
Where's Purple Rice?
Purple rice, purple rice. And every punchline was rice. He goes, my sister and I, we went down to the ocean. We saw the fish, and the fish were jumping around, and they jumped right out of the rice. Like every punchline was rice. And I died. It's just, I'm
That's
like,
so you, because that's a bit
No.
that you would do.
no, I'm not kidding. I
And
loved it.
People would think, but it's real.
It's real.
It's
I'm not even
amazing.
kidding.
Where is he at?
I don't know. This was literally 20 years ago.
Probably in a field full
Maybe-
of
Rice.
Yeah, like-
he got on a rice paddy. But this was 25 years ago. And he went up on New Talent Night. And this kid, and I just, like, he stayed with me, like it killed me. Like, I love it. But that's the beauty of comedy and art.
it lives rent free in your head. You know how happy he would be to hear that?
Yeah, I wonder. I still think about him to this day. Like, I brought it up now because he's still in my head, I've seen so many comedians. And think about it. You only have so many spots on your shoe shelf for your shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And after 35 years of being immersed deeply in the stand-up comedy world, and this kid who, and I don't say nobody out of disrespect, he's a nobody. I don't even know his name.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know where, I don't even know he's alive or dead. I know he didn't go anywhere in the industry, but that goofy kid has one of my sacred spots on my shoe shelf.
That's incredible.
And I love it. And that's why I love the art form. And then that's applicable to any art form, by the way, in my mind.
You're a big protector of art in the sense of you're like, let it be what it is. And
Yeah.
You are really good, like, and I'm with you. Like, don't
Well,
control
I'll
me.
even challenge. I'll say it lets you be what it is.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
It's we have this idea that we own and control and direct art, but I think it directs us. I think the flow of the universe, inspiration and vision comes from the energies that create the world we live in, and it's what flows through us, because art doesn't exist until it manifests as an image in our brain. So yesterday you might not have had an idea for a painting of a giant ball with elephants on it. But then this afternoon you might just be doing the dishes and be like, elephants on a giant ball, paintbrush, the world, the energies of the world, like, bring art to you in a way. So I always go, are we in charge of art, or is art in charge of us?
Oh, it's definitely in charge of us.
Yeah, so you can't control it.
You can't, I know you can't bring his name up anymore, but Bill Cosby, who was,
You can bring it up.
all right, I brought it up.
Yeah.
He's Philly, so he's a legend from where I came from.
From Philadelphia?
He started,
When you say Bill Cosby and then the word Philly, that's a little bit,
Philly, like
Philly with Whatty.
Philly.
No, he did a lot of Philly. Well, people were sleepy.
He did.
Yeah, let's not say Philly.
Okay,
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, let's keep it long for
He
him.
filled or he felt.
Philly. You said Philly.
Philly.
Yeah.
He Philly. Yeah, he was. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
He was 25.
Yeah.
Went to college, did everything, and he paid $1 a day to shower, and he became the host, I believe, at the Bitter End in the East Village.
Kind of like his career, the bitter end.
Yeah, and this club had everyone. It was him and Woody Allen.
Okay.
That's a headlining spot.
Yeah.
Talk about Philly.
Pedo and Rapo.
Yeah, together on the bill.
Wow.
We got to find the third. So I think the what's the director's guy? The French guy.
The French guy.
Yeah, what's the French guy?
Scorsese?
No, he's American.
Oh, so you're talking about the guy that did Chinatown.
Yeah,
Polanski.
Polanski.
Yeah.
I think he was washing dishes in the back.
Wow.
Or what a third. Anyway, Bill Cosby said that you will only do comedy if you can't not do it. Meaning that every day it's taking over you. And when I read that quote when I was 16 years old, something hit me like rice.
Say it again.
You can't do comedy unless you cannot not do it. Meaning like it's going, and William Shatner says you're not going to act unless you don't act. Act makes you, does you. Meaning,
Because it's a force.
yes, it
It's a
just
force.
overtakes you. You can't think of it. You're at your job. I was always goofing off at Pizza Hut. When I worked at Red Lobster, I was goofing off. I lost a job because I had an audition for New Faces at Improv, and they said if you leave, but I was like, I don't care. I'll be homeless. So
Yeah.
that's what it's
Wow.
it's our force.
It's your force. It's your.
So when
it's your
people say,
life
how do
force,
you
yeah.
do it? I say, you don't do it. It does you.
Yeah.
And I know that's how
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah. That's a big part of it. Yeah. There's some people in life that will fight that force and not do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like everyone takes the step that you did where you just walked out. You know, I did the same thing. I was a busboy at a fancy bakery in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing fine. I was, running around dirty dishes and setting tables. And
The funniest busboy in Toronto.
this is funny how this is going to tie in. You're going to laugh, but this is true. I was a busboy. It was my second night, and it was hard work, and I didn't like it. And I knew somewhere in my head, I hadn't done stand-up yet. I just left college, but I knew I wanted to try stand-up. And I was doing this busboying, and I didn't like it, but I was like, it's work. I got to pay the rent. And on the second night, the owner came in, and he was almost the living image of Weinstein, Harvey Weinstein. He looked like Harvey. Before I even knew about Weinstein, he was this big, heavy-set guy with a cigar and jewelry on his fingers, and really kind of like, hey, you go there. Like he was ordering people around, and I just went, I'll be damned if I work for this, if I help this guy get any richer or more of an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And he came up to me and he goes, Harlan, do you want to go on a break now? And I said, yeah, I do. And I'm still on it. I never went back. And guess where I went? And this is 100% real.
Yucks.
I walked down the street to the movie theater and went to see Purple Rain.
No.
I'm not even joking. 100%. I went to see Purple Rain.
You saw Purple
Isn't that
Rice.
wild? Purple Rice, yeah.
Dude.
Isn't that weird?
Dude.
That it came around. And by the way, back to Paul Rodriguez, he's a huge guy on the smelt fishing thing up in the valley. He's actually campaigned and done whole political things to fight the smelt fishing thing. Not to go off topic.
Because he has a lemon farm.
I don't know what he has, but
Oh my gosh, do you believe that we live in a matrix?
not really.
Oh God. Here's like crazy shit happens to you. You're like,
Well, the Matrix is
come on, dude.
It's this giant convoluted mathematical alter universe.
No, meaning like this shit is bizarre, bro. What are the chances?
Okay, so we're human beings, right? Me and you. We live in this.
I gotta go back to the more stuff first.
Okay, I'll come back to the Matrix.
Don't
with
lose this. Forget Pryor. That's a whole other conversation, which I'm confused at with you. But George Carlin.
Yeah.
George Carlin was not your cup of tea.
No.
That's crazy to me.
See, what's crazy to me is if you go to any existing comedian now, like if you go to Bill Burr, Joe Rogan, whoever, any of the big ones, and you say, who are your favorite comedians? Who are your influences? I bet you 90% go, oh, Richard Pryor, Robin Williams, Bill Cosby. Like, how is it they're all the same people? Really? Were they that great? They were your favorite? Really? Those guys?
But wait,
Like, I couldn't give a crap about those guys.
about
Like, I like the Purple Rice guy better than any of them.
okay, but George Carlin.
It's like painting. You ever go to an art gallery anywhere in the world? You go and there's Picasso, there's Monet, there's Degas, there's Goya, there's Renoir, there's Dali. You go to that's in Germany. Now you go to the gallery in London. There's Renoir, there's there's Monet, there's Rembrandt, and then you go to the gallery
So you're
and
seeing the same guy.
everything. So, and everyone goes, "Who's your favorite painter?" "Oh, I like Renoir." And it's like we're all sort of conditioned. And I'm not calling out all comedians, but I'm just saying I find it peculiar that 90% of every interview you ever see where they go, "Who's your favorite comedian?" "Oh, Pryor." And it's like it's almost like they've been conditioned to say that answer. What if it's not just your buddy Melvin who lives down in Bakersfield? Like, I don't know.
You love Bakersfield.
Yeah.
But here's what I want to say. I understand what you're saying because
Yeah.
there's a lot of undiscovered gems or a guy like you see one night and all that stuff. But I'm saying you can't deny George Carlin. in my opinion.
No, I can't deny that he had an impact, that he was a great writer, but did he make me laugh hysterically? No. That's not pompous or snobby. It just wasn't my style, the same way Renoir's not my style. I like Dali. You know?
When you look at a comedian, do you want to laugh totally or do you want to think?
I think I just want to see something fresh and new, and I want to see funny. Comedian equals funny.
You're right about that.
So make it funny to me. Like I don't care how wordy, how like maybe that's my thing with Carlin. He was so wordy and so sort of clever, and it was almost more like social commentary, that it wasn't super funny to me. It was reverent, and it was like logical, and it was like stimulating. But Jerry Lewis with buck teeth walking into a wall would make me laugh more, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And I know there's snobs saying, well, Harland's stupid. What a basic understanding of great, call me stupid. To me, that's funny, you know?
Well, I think because I'm a school of you, comedy was always about just laughing, really laughing. And when somebody really makes me laugh, they're the best at comedy.
Yeah.
But now comedy, I thought George Carlin started pushing the thing of making you laugh, but he made you think.
Right, but is thinking funny? Like I can read George Orwell and think. I'm not there to think. I'm not sure it's very, reverent what he might have said, and it may be politically and socially like, wow, how astute of you. But I'm not there to think. I'm there, make me laugh. It's a comedy show.
I know.
I'm not there for a lecture or to be thinking. Like, okay, wow, you went to another layer. That's deep. Well, I don't necessarily want deep. Where's the laugh? I came here to laugh. Like when I go to a restaurant, I want food. I don't want to admire the tablecloth. I want to fucking eat. What a great tablecloth. Who stitched that puppy together? No, take that lasagna back. I don't want anything on top of this damn tablecloth.
I know.
So that's just me. I'm not trying to be a smartass or call anyone else out for not thinking the way I do, but
criticizing
I just want funny. I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying those are my likes and dislikes. But I will go back to, I find it odd that every time I see an interview with a prominent modern comedian, it almost disturbs me, to be honest, that 90% of their answers are all the same. And to me, that's almost conditioning, which I don't like. It's like, really? All you guys, 80% of you guys, Cosby and Pryor, but they don't just say it, they go, oh, like they're gods. Like, it's like, well, like, okay, man, I went to Africa. I was standing there. I saw a motherfucking lion. Motherfucking lion behind the bush. I don't know that I'm laughing. Where's the purple rice?
You're going hard.
Like, dude,
I'm just going hard on a Rushmore right now. You're going hard on a Rushmore.
I don't care. I'm allowed to. It's a free world, and I can say what I want. I'm not being...
Wait a minute. Are you comparing Purple Rice to Richard Pryor?
Yes, 100%.
His famous African lion bit.
I didn't laugh. I laughed at a guy doing Purple Rice. What's so funny about a lion behind the bush? There's a motherfucking lion behind the bush. Okay, I've been to Africa. I've seen a lion behind a bush. If the lion pulled out a fucking lighter and went Purple Rice, now I'm laughing.
But you can't deny his body of work.
I can.
But he's
didn't do anything for me.
After specials.
Hey, I'm the first one breaking the fucking mold. It didn't do anything for me.
So this is
I'm not shitting on the guy. I'm just saying I did nothing for me. I'd rather watch Jerry Lewis flop and flip all over the floor with buck teeth and. There's things where Jerry Lewis is doing a mime typewriter, and I'm like, that to me is more brilliant than there's a motherfucking lion behind the bush. I'll take a mime typewriter over a lion behind a bush any day.
Wow.
Yeah. And throwing a side of Purple Rice, I'm on fire, baby.
Wow. No, and you're not being disrespectful. You're saying for your taste.
Right.
For your laughter, and you're being pure for yourself. You're going, what hit your funny button?
Yeah.
Was Purple Rice.
It's like, do you like sushi?
Of course.
I don't. So now
God.
what?
Well, we got.
Am I wrong? Are you wrong? No, it's flavors.
I think it's weird.
You do?
No, I think
That I'm not conditioned to say Pryor or
no.
your guy doesn't like conditioning.
No, I don't like conditioning.
Do you think it's a little bit of brainwashing?
No, hold on a second. Listen.
Why do
sushi.
all these comics have the
Hold
same
on.
answer?
Hold on.
Conspiracy theory.
Sushi. Listen, I love sushi, and I would take you to it, and I would.
I actually like sushi.
Okay.
I was just making a point.
Okay. All right, that's what.
I like Smelt, actually. It's my favorite
Dude.
sushi. Raw Smelt. Mm.
Do you see how you were on my pod and how we talk real, but yet you still make me laugh so hard? And you see this? This is, I don't know if you showed this side to many people, and that's what I love.
What?
Your honesty.
Oh, yeah.
Because I consider you so entertaining, and you're like, take the art of making someone laugh very seriously, which more people need to learn. And when you go on that stage, your job is to make them laugh and be done. And that's how you are.
Not done. Leave it with them.
Yeah, leave it with. Well, you
want the residue of that laughter to stay on them like a film.
Yeah.
Like a coat.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be done. If they walk out and they're just done, it's like you probably didn't do your job too well. But if they say wear it for a minute, you know when you put a glove by the fire when you're camping and it's winter.
Yes.
And you put that glove on and it's warm and then the heat slowly dissipates.
Yeah.
But if you just put the glove on, then there's no warmth. So you sort of want them to remember you're funny for a little bit. It's going to go away, but.
Of course, just like Purple Rice did. But what I'm saying is you did your set, you're done. That's all I was saying.
Yeah. Technically, yeah.
Yes. Dude, but slurp away. Listen, I can't believe, it's not the conditioning. I understand your point, but growing up, we had HBO. That was the only place I ever got to see comedy, or Showtime,
right,
or an album. So those were the only ones available. So your boy Purple Rice wasn't around. I wasn't going to comedy clubs. I didn't go to one until I was 19 years old.
Yeah, but there was other outlets to see comedians, like the Tonight Show. Like, I'll be honest,
and those guys were on.
Yeah,
so that was what we were given. And so to push back on you, that's what we were given. And that's what
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so
we were very limited in our scope of the comedy we could see from the stand-up world.
Yeah, there might have been a lot of unknown comics.
There were, yeah.
Do you know who the biggest comic I was told in the 80s at the store was?
Who?
Maybe late 70s. Murray Langston.
I don't know who that is.
Yes, you do.
Murray
Langston.
Murray?
Unknown comic.
Oh, the guy with the bag on his head.
Huge.
Oh, yeah, hilarious. I knew him from the Gong Show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like no one really.
Well, he clearly wanted not to be known.
Yeah.
He got his wish.
So this is a first. Have you ever said that you weren't a fan of Pryor or Carlin?
I'd probably said it to friends. I've never said it
publicly.
Yeah, but I don't care.
Yeah.
What? It's a crime. It's a comedy crime.
No,
I'll be shunned.
Mm-mm.
I just feel like maybe a lot of, and I could be wrong, I might be projecting my own thoughts on it, but sometimes I don't know if that's authentic when people say that. I've seen people in interviews and they go, so who's your favorite? Oh, Pryor and Carlin. And it almost looks like, it was almost like a knee-jerk response where they're almost like, oh, I've got to say them. And I don't know, it's just, that's my observation of that whole kind of scenario,
Mm-hmm.
There's something that doesn't necessarily ring true about it, and it's almost like sometimes I wonder, do other comics sometimes want to be part of the club or seem intelligent or seem in with the clique by saying what they think they're supposed to say? Or if they really do love Carlin and Cosby and Pryor, great, good for them. I have no skin in the game one way or the other. My observation just is I find it very queer, as they used to say, that everyone gives the same damn answer. Like, you came from Philly, I came from Toronto, Bill Burr came from Boston, Chappelle came from, and somehow we all have the same answer. Like, really? Everyone's exactly got 90% of people say the same thing every time? Like, I don't know. I just find it all peculiar. I'm not condemning anyone or saying they're stupid or bad, but I just, it's suspicious to me. But what do I know? I'm just a guy who liking a purple rice. Purple rice. Whoo! You're laughing again. Now try this one. Oh, there's a lion behind the fucking bushes. What a fucking lion.
It's just that's like such a big bit.
What was it? He's talking about going to Africa.
I don't remember it all. But I remember
Exactly.
it was a big bit.
Okay, anyways, I don't want to beat it to death.
Rat shit, well, you brought it up. Rat shit, bat shit, dirty old twat. 69 assholes tied in a knot. Hooray, lizard shit, fuck. Who did that bit?
I have no idea.
George Carlin. I can't believe I know it. But that was one of the things I saw when I was like 11. And I would sing that at school all the time. So that was effective.
Hilarious. What was it? Bat shit,
Stuff.
finger stuff, butters. What was it?
Stuff. Remember all the bit about stuff? You have stuff.
Ooh, you got stuff.
Yeah.
What if elevators didn't go up and down, but they went sideways?
I love this.
Ooh.
You know what I love is that you are the person that can talk about it, and you are.
Anyone can.
No, I know, but
I'm no better or no less than them or anybody.
You're
I'm
very
just
high up in the.
I am
There's
not.
a hierarchy,
No,
and you're very.
I'm just a guy with a point of view.
But wait,
I'm not trying to be pretentious or
I
press
know you're
my
not.
opinion on anyone.
I know you're not.
It's just something that I've observed and I find it peculiar.
Comedy, okay, but comedy. What I love about you,
If you're gonna do that, either find like one of those doorbells or a clit. Like use that.
Well, there's no clit here.
I know, but like later, like either go to a hotel and go ding 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 ding, or find a girl and go like don't waste that.
Okay, I'll keep.
That's a clit banging door binger.
Wait, but the stuff of comedy. What I love about you is you're a lone wolf.
Am I?
I think you are.
I don't know.
Well, I agree that comics sometimes comedy. I always want to just make the audience. That's all I care about.
Yeah, that's our job.
Yeah,
to elicit laughter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you go to a mechanic. His job is to fix your car. Our job is to.
You don't want to say, "Look at that beautiful wrench."
I mean, you could,
but you want that car fixed.
Does that wrench go up or down, or what if it went sideways? Ooh. What if that motherfucking wrench was hiding behind the bushes with a lion? Purple wrench, purple wrench.
You're going. I don't want to beat it to death. You just brought it back again. You're going so hard.
What do you mean? It's just a conversation.
I agree with you.
Why are you so wired up about it? Is it sacrilege what I'm saying?
No.
I think it's just an opinion, and maybe it's, hey, think about this. What if my opinion's right? What if what I'm saying is accurate? It might not be, but
could be.
It's food for thought, and all the comedians watching can maybe go, I wonder if I'm guilty of that, or they go, Harlan's a fucking idiot. But who cares? Whatever they decide, they decide.
In comedy, the number one thing should be funny.
Funny.
And that's why I don't like it when it's blah, blah night. It's this night. It just should be funny. Everyone should be on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think we should have theme nights.
Well, I don't mind that. It's because in those theme nights, there's going to be funny. What do you mean? What to explain theme night?
I don't want to just see lesbian night. Lesbian should just be on the show.
Okay.
Sometimes.
What if it's Irish night? Are you
I
Irish?
Guess, yeah, but
I think it's fine.
What I mean is like sometimes people hide behind ideology, and I just want them to just go on and be funny because they're funny. People are funny if they're lesbian, gay, black, normal, white, and they try to separate.
You're afraid of
I just want
categories, but I think the
not
reality.
Afraid, I just want people to be funny, and I will say the Laugh Factory books every type of person, and the lineup is going to be funny.
Yeah. But within every lineup, too, it reveals whether it's all lesbian, straight, black, white. It will show the truth. And the truth is, are they funny?
Mm-hmm.
And they can be whatever they want to be, any category they want, white, black, Asian, straight. But comedy doesn't let you lie. Like, you're funny or you're not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was a New Faces night, and the guy happened to be Japanese, and he got you. It wasn't Japanese night. I'm just trying to say is I just like comedy. I'm with you. Comedy should just be about the laughs and it shouldn't be anything else.
Right. But you're something's rubbing you the wrong way about categorizing it. Like clearly you hate lesbians. And you think, I'm going to get in trouble. Look at this one. Let's talk about that one.
Purple rye, purple rye.
Purple Dyke, Purple Dyke. Woo!
Can you say that word anymore?
You can say whatever you want. It's America.
All right.
See, we live in a world where
Jews.
you're getting all... Jews, Christians, Romans, lions eating Christians. You can say whatever
behind
you want.
a bush.
But motherfucking lion eating a Christian behind a bush, motherfucker. You can say whatever you want. It's America. People got to stop being afraid.
That's right. Listen to me.
What?
Speaking of it, Art, you've just directed a movie.
Yes.
Can we talk about our movie? Your movie.
Our movie.
Our movie.
Our movie, my guy.
Well,
You're in it too.
I'm in it. Your vision, and I'm in it. I'm very happy to be a part of it.
It's actually the vision of the producer, this character named
Levine.
Justin Levine.
Who looks like a lion behind a bush.
He does.
He does.
And he's a real funny character. He's a real estate developer from Canada. And we became friends. And he came to me 16 years ago and said, Harland, I want to make a movie. He's got enough money. He goes, I want to make a movie, and all I got is Wingman. I want to make a movie called Wingman. And I said, well, have you done anything? Well, he goes, well, I had my friend from high school write a script about it. And I said, okay, let me look at it. And he literally had one of his buddies from high school who was not in the industry, didn't know how to write a script. And I read about 3 pages, and I said, Justin, I said, I'm interested. I think there's something there. It's intriguing. Wingman, that's an interesting world to me. I said, I'll tell you what, you let me write it. We throw this in the garbage. You let me write it and direct it, and I'm in. And he said, go for it. So I wrote it, and we had like 2 or 3 false starts over 16 years. Well, I should say 14 years. And then in the 14th year, we finally got everything in place, and we shot it. And now it's 2 years later. We've edited it, and now the movie's coming out very soon. It might be out already, May 26th, unless this is whenever this plays. But
it'll be right around it.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Yeah, so we finally did it. I wrote it, directed. I ended up having to star in it. Because it was low budget, I went to all my friends. I got it to Will Ferrell. I got it to Jim Carrey. I got it over to Ryan Gosling. I got it over to Jason Bateman.
And this is all true, by the way.
This is all true.
What did Jim say?
They just said no, and I knew they would.
Did Ryan look at it?
I don't know, but I got it to their people. You know, I have connections to all these people, so I'm not a guy who doesn't swing for the fences.
I know.
So I was like, I'm going to just go for it. You can't. All you can do is get a no.
You got this script to Ryan Gosling.
I believe so. Yeah.
I can't tell your history with him.
You can't,
or can I? You know Ryan, don't you?
Well, he used to house sit for me, believe it or not, just before he broke. So when I'd go on the road doing comedy, he'd come and stay at my house and watch my dogs, and he'd bring his guitar and play and sleep in the guest bedroom.
That's crazy. No one knows this.
No one knows that. My sisters know it because I have 4 sisters in Canada, and when they'd come to visit, they'd sleep in the bed that Ryan slept in, and they'd be like, is this the bed that Ryan slept in? And I'd be like, yes.
Same sheets?
Well, I don't know. Actually, maybe at some point they probably were.
You think they sniffed the sheets?
I don't want to think of my sisters in that way as sniffers, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were snorting.
Snorting sheets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised instead of having their head on the pillow, they slept the other way, so their faces were kind of where the ass goes.
You just went from not wanting to talk about your sisters.
Can't. It's Gosling. How do you not? And I bet on that night only, they all became snorers.
Snorers.
Because they were inhaling deep. Like
deep Gosling crack.
Now that you say it, I remember a couple of mornings my sister stumbled out of the bedroom, and I go, my God, get some tweezers, those nose hairs. And I realized now those were Gosling's pubes.
Yeah, wow.
Must have been coming right out of their noses. They were deep, just fiber sucking.
Doesn't strike me as a guy that would smell.
Like HVAC in the...
Yeah.
Oh.
But wait, so Ryan Gosling used to house sit for you?
Yeah, so
Crazy.
I got through to his agents, his managers, and sent the script over. Now, whether they gave it to him or not, I can't tell you, but I did the same with Jim. I think Jim read it. I gave it to all of them, like all the big hitters that I knew, knowing that they'd most likely say no, but you never know. They might have just seen the material and gone, you know what? But to be honest, the most money we could have given them was a few $100,000. But if we got them, some investor probably would have found $1 million maybe. But again, we were shooting in a small town in Canada, 15 days. Maybe if we got them, it would turn into 30. These guys, I know the business. I've been in movies for 30 years. So I just went for it on a hope and a prayer. I didn't get them. And so I ended up having to look in the mirror and go, who's the only other guy that could probably nail this character? I wrote it. I visualized the movie already because I'm going to direct it. So it's storyboarded in my head. So I ended up doing the acting in it. I was, and I also asked my buddy Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor in Smallville. He was the original guy I wrote it for, because believe it or not, Michael's an amazing physical comedian.
He's very funny.
He's very funny. And so I wrote it, and he originally said yes to it.
Why didn't Rosie do it?
The early years, he said I'm in, and then later he sort of got a little disenfranchised with acting, and I approached him again, 14 years later. He goes, buddy, I'm just not feeling it anymore. And I asked him about 5 times, and he just said, I'm not. And I said, okay. And then I knew I had to do it. Yeah,
Rosenbaum is very underratedly hilarious.
Oh, I hope I get him in something one day and tap into his physicality, his ingenuity. He comes up with really funny stuff. He did something at one of his barbecues once that I still want to put in a movie. We were just standing in his crowded kitchen, people all around. And the garbage bin was empty. So he tied it up, put the thing out. He went to the closet, got one of those white plastic garbage bags. And there was like 4 girls just standing talking. And he just walked up to them with the garbage bag, went, snap. You know when you snap them and they fill up with air?
Yeah.
And they just and he just relentless, just snap. And I was like, this is like, I want to put that in a movie, and I want him to do it. Like if I do a Wingman 2, I want to see him snap that garbage bag. But he comes up with that kind of stuff, and it kills me.
Yeah. No, he is hilarious.
So, but no sour grapes. We're still great buddies.
No, dude, you're hilarious.
I respect,
and it's written for you. I don't see how anyone else could do it but you. The voice is you.
Thank you.
No, it's you.
Well, the other thing is,
there's so many original things in this movie you want to talk about. There's a lot of purple rice in this movie.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
I would like to tell a couple of them.
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, like, you watch, but I was just going to say, if you get, a movie should have 5 set pieces. That's how it originally was. That's a Farley brothers trait where you were raised on. And I say your movie has maybe 6, 7. I have to think of them, but Koala, I think onion rings. I'm not gonna give them all away, but
that's okay. They don't know what it is. So if you tease them, they'll be intrigued. So you can say whatever you want.
There's just at least 6 or 7 set pieces, which are big events that are crazy. Think of like Something About Mary, the zipper. That was a set piece.
The cum in the hair.
Yes, that's a set piece. And
we have a lot of those in Wingman.
But then there's jokes on top of jokes. It was why I love shooting this movie with you is because you are like Keenan Ivory Wayans, who I never worked with, but I've been told by many people he has 6 or 7 ideas of a joke. So you do that joke, and that's how you are. Try this joke. Try this joke.
Well, my MO was what we just talked about. It circles back. I'm doing a comedy movie, so I want it to be funny. Comedy equals funny, funny equals comedy. Yeah. So it's loaded with jokes, it's loaded with set pieces, but there's still a cohesive story that you can follow that actually has heart and has resolution and has intrigue. I didn't want to just do a series of jokes strung together, because you can see that watching Saturday Night Live. So I tried to craft a script where you get immersed in the story of the main characters. you find out that they're deeper than the comedy. They're still funny, but there's a payoff, and you get to go on this journey with them, but you get to laugh along the way, but also feel something along the way.
The movie has heart, a lot of heart.
That was important to me that it had heart, because I think if you can grab people emotionally for the movie and deliver the comedy, I think it's a much more robust cinematic experience, and people walk away and feel more, and when they're watching, they get pulled in more.
I know. But there's so much, like, Kayla, who's the star of it, is a great grounding.
Kayla Wallace, yeah.
Kayla Wallace is who we got before Landman.
Yeah, I cast her. I didn't even know who she was. I'd never seen her in my life. You know, we looked at 40 beautiful actresses as our lead female, one of our female leads, and she just popped out. And she was the one girl we couldn't get because we were shooting in Ontario, and we had to use an Ontario actress. She was the one actress that was in British Columbia. And I went, this is our girl. I'd never seen her in my life. And the other guys looked at her and went, yeah, that is her. Here's the bad news. It's going to cost us $10,000 extra to do the union thing to bring her from another province. And I said, do it. And they said, we're not doing it. And I just said, guys, do it. I fought them. I said, do it. Get her. She's the one.
You did?
Oh, I did.
Wow.
I insisted. I was adamant. I made them. And they had to spend an extra $10,000 to bring her from British Columbia just because of union things. It wasn't an illegal thing. It was a totally legal, but it was not economic to use her when we had 39 other really good choices. But something about her just popped, and I knew that it had to be her, and she came and smashed it over the wall.
She is completely, she's a star. She's
great.
That's
great.
wild.
Yeah.
So you pushed for Kayla.
Kayla, yeah, I insisted on her. I wouldn't give up. They told me no like 3-4 times, and I was like, nope, yeah, that's the one.
And now she's on a huge show.
And then when she got there on set, she told us, she goes, oh, I got this show with Billy Bob Thornton. And I was like, oh, great. I had no idea what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then while we were editing, Landman went on TV and became this huge hit. And now Kayla's like, you know, this big actress now, and she's in, and that's a very serious drama, that show.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love about that is she's very stoic in Landman, but then you can go watch Wingman, and you get to see the lighter, comedic, sweet version of her, where she's more vulnerable and lovable. Yeah.
She's like our Cameron Diaz.
She's like almost like Julia Roberts, too. I remember watching her on the very few days that we had a monitor. I was behind directing her and watching her and just sort of just falling in love with her metaphorically. Just going, wow, she just, her smile and her acting instincts, like she just really draws you in, and you can't take your eyes off her. And she's just such a nice person and authentic, and her acting it was a perfect touch. I wanted a girl that was sort of the girl next door, and not to be crass, but you also felt like sort of aroused. You're like, she's sexy. She's the girl next door, but she has a sexiness to her too, that you'd want to, you know, be with her, go out with her, whatever. And she encapsulated all of that.
She grounds our movie, and Evan, who's hilarious.
Evan Marsh. Oh yeah.
He's hilarious. He's another
incredible
diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
And then, but he's also very real, and he grounds it. And it's just, their chemistry is amazing. And then you have Russell.
Peters.
Russell's like, come on.
Well, Russell Peters came into it. I've known Russell since the Toronto years. And I asked him to do it, and he came on board. He was so kind to me to do it, because I don't think he necessarily loves doing movies and stuff. And I went to Russell and I said, Russell, I really want to, with all respect to your culture and everything, I really want to tap into your East Indian roots. I want you to have an accent in this movie and play it as an East Indian guy. And he goes, you know what, Harland? Every show, every movie I've ever done, they've asked me to do that, and I've turned them down. And he goes, I'm doing it for you because I respect you, which really Russell, if you're watching, you have no idea how much that touched me. But it wasn't just that I wanted him because he's East Indian. I wanted to tap into that because comedically, it's something he does in his act, and he's never done it on screen in a movie. And I wanted him to be able to express that comedy, not just comedy, but his culture, and treat it with respect and dignity, and let him find the best way to do it. And he did it. And not just the fact that he does the accent, but just his comedic instincts. I mean, he probably improvised a great joke every take. And I left it in the movie because he was just, that really surprised me. I knew he could improv, but he did it on every take. And I was like, the choices I had when I was editing, I'm just like, I love this. And then there's you, my guy.
Hey, I'm with you.
Well, you came up, Eddie's the nemesis in the movie. He's the antagonist. He's the other wingman. So it's me and you, and I kind of am a desperate guy, and you find out why at the end of the movie, why I'm just trying to get money from anyone to be a wingman. You're a high-end roller, and you kind of steal Russell from Evan, and you just brought this kind of dark, quiet Clint Eastwood moodiness to your character that I didn't expect. I didn't know where you would go with it, and I really liked it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, because my guy was a little more high, like amped up, and you had this calming thing. And when we square off eye to eye, it just felt like Lee Van Cleef and Clint Eastwood from the old spaghetti westerns.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Thank you.
Oh
buddy.
no, it was a great energy, and you'll see it on screen. We have a classic. It's the only part of the movie where I stylized it as a director to emulate the Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns, but instead of guns, Jamie and I, our wingman trademark is we have toothpicks, and we have a showdown at a nightclub where we spit toothpicks at each other instead of shoot each other.
Yeah, another set piece where you think it's over the top, but it's really funny.
It's fun, yes.
Well, you know why I love it is, thank you for saying that. It's because we had this wild movie and we had wild things happening, but I felt like Eddie was a guy who took this very fucking seriously.
Yeah.
He wants to get you women. Let's go. You want to get women. Let's do this. And once I found that wig, the girl, what was her name? She was so good. Shout out to the
hairdresser up there. Originally, I envisioned Jamie with a long ponytail.
Which is cheesy and great, which would have been great. But she put a wig on, and once I felt like David Coverdale or something.
Yeah, you looked like a rocker dude. You looked like Jesus almost.
Almost. Well, I don't want to say that, but
No, but you sort of did because the goatee and the long hair, and it just worked. And when it flowed over the black leather, like you actually look really cool and hot. I'm not into dudes, but you look hot.
Oh, thank you, buddy.
And it's just, and you've got kind of a smoking, sort of smoldering disposition where you're just kind of like, hey, man, and
questioning everything.
Yeah.
But that's what I felt like Eddie was. I felt like he was this guy, and he got this, he's a putz. You're getting all the low rent guys.
Yeah.
And it's just a fascinating thing. We did a scene. Can we show the scene?
You want to show the scene where you think I'm washed up?
Yeah.
And you're sort of, okay, this is a scene where for the first time ever, I blew my mission and I didn't get my client, Evan Marsh, who plays Bob, his girl. And it looks like the end of the road for me. The wound is open and you show up and you can't wait to rub the salt.
Yeah.
So let's cut to that scene.
Let's see this.
You thinking about leaving town? Well, you probably should. Because word on the street is you failed in your mission last night, Fungus Face.
How'd you find out so fast? Fart Festival lips.
News in our business travels fast. It's a crazy world.
Crazy like Forrest Whitaker's left eye. But I'll be all right.
You lost your touch, Turk. Maybe it's time you get out.
Like a retard in a bouncy house. There is no getting out.
You're like an old lady's tit. All dried up, just hanging around.
What's to stop me right now from shoving a giant pretzel so far up your ass, you think you have fallopian tubes?
Because unlike you, I have an employer who currently pays me.
Wow.
Buddy.
Purple rice. Purple rice. Dude,
No, what? Go ahead.
it was just so fun. That scene, like that encapsulates what we just talked about, the intensity between us. And what I really respected about your acting choice is that you did play it very serious. But look at the dialogue. It was ridiculous.
I know.
But because we played it so serious, the seriousness and the ridiculousness just, it makes for this great comedy of opposing forces. And it just, I love it. That's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
It was so
Yeah.
fun, bro. Because no, that's what I'm saying. That you have many tones to this movie, and it's like it starts with Kayla being like grounding
Yeah.
us, and then Eddie has a seriousness, and then but you're very serious with your character, but
Yeah.
you just happen to throw a chicken wing in a girl's head,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like that's why this is a comedy that the way we used to make them.
Yeah. Well, I kept my character Turk very serious and intense because in my mind,
But it's hilarious.
yeah, he's great at his job and
Mm-hmm.
he's so intense and he has such strange methodology for scoring, members of the opposite sex for his clients that he doesn't see that it's absurd and it's ridiculous and it's outlandish. To him, it's just technique and it gets the results he needs. So one of the surprises in the movie is one of his methods for getting women lured to his male clients is in his car, which is a Model T Ford Hot Rod, under the seat, the driver's seat, he made a nest for an albino koala. And he's got a koala living under his car seat. Why? Because koalas are so cute. They're the #1 panty dropper in the world. So the wingman, me, gets his loser client to go down into his car with a chick they're trying to pick up and introduce him to the koala so it helps the guy get to Action Street,
Yeah, and you do the koala. You do so much in this movie. You wrote it, you starred in it, you directed it, you produced it, you did the music, and you did the animal voices.
Well, that's not much. I don't know what koalas sound like.
Do
but
it again.
Is that what they sound like?
It
I just
sounds-
had to guess.
But it sounds like that's what it is.
Sounds like that's what they would do.
Yeah.
Maybe when they're having sex. That's what. Yeah.
Now the movie gets crazy, it gets wild, but it's against the wall. We went crazy with it. This is the way I love it.
Well,
We should have a theatrical. I think we're going to get a theatrical in Australia.
I think in Australia and Canada they're talking about theatrical, and who knows? Maybe we'll get it here. But for now, it's streaming, which I'm not mad about. Like
I'm not
more
either.
people have TVs in their living room than go out to the movie theaters. So if we can get
1,000.
both, I'd love it.
1,000%.
But I'm just happy it's out there for the world. And one thing that I think people enjoy about my character and your character, as it seems we're just these antagonists that are competing with each other, you'll see, I won't give away, but as you get deeper into the movie, you will see that Jamie and I have a dark, deep secret that goes deeper than just being wingmen in nightclubs. And I think that's something I tried to weave into the movie to tease you with along the way and make it intriguing. And you sort of get a sense of why we do what we do by the end of the movie. It's much deeper than just making money and trying to get people laid. But I'm not going to give that away. You got to see the movie to find the answer. Ding.
Yes, and the movie wraps everything up. A lot of
Yeah.
comedies just do set pieces and jokes, and the story gets lost.
A lot of
Everything
comedies,
pays off.
yeah, a lot of movies in general get lost. So I was like, I am not going to write a movie unless everything ties together and gets paid off. I hate leaving a movie and go, well, what about that character? And whatever happened, like, it's sort of like Vince Gilligan did it with Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd say 99% of everything he dropped in the early episodes of Breaking Bad panned out and tied together. And when you left that series, you're just like, It all made sense. It all fit. And so even though Wingman isn't that masterpiece, at least for an hour and 45 minutes, I want you to be immersed in a movie that when you finish, you go, wow, that felt concise. That there's no unanswered questions. I want to see more. When's the damn sequel? You purple rice sucking whore. I didn't mean to say it again.
Can't say it.
I cut it off. I said whore.
Whore.
You can say whore all you want. You can't say the R part.
He could say that George Carlin's not his favorite comedian, but doesn't want to say the word whore.
George Carlin, the whore? Purple rice. Purple rice.
Buddy.
Dude, I want to thank you again for being in Wingman.
Come on.
That was like,
I love being in it.
I know, but you didn't flinch. It took you a minute to read. I met with Jamie once at a coffee shop in Hollywood. I sat him down. I told you about it. You said, oh, I'm intrigued. And then I sent him the script. And then we went to Mel's Diner on Sunset. We met again. And Jamie goes, dude, I love it. I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so happy. And he was a huge piece of the casting and a friend. We've known each other for
30 years.
Yeah, a long time.
30 years.
And so, buddy, thank you again. I know I've told you, but thank you again for being in it. You killed it. And folks, go see our movie. And I think you're going to love it.
I want to say this, The Matrix, how it comes back to that, because you gave me the script. We met at the Coffee Bean. Now it's the Starbucks across from the DGA.
Yeah. Which is where we had the premiere, by the way.
That's what I wanted to say, is that then we went to Mel's, where I would audition to get in the store after, or New Faces, and then we'd go to Mel's, and I said, I got to do this script because it was so unique, and it was so different, and it was your perfect voice. And then we had a huge premiere at the DJ across from the Coffee Bean.
Right, directly across from where we first met about it. I just realized that just now. That is weird.
Right?
And I still don't believe in the Matrix.
Well, I just want to let everybody know Hollywood dreams do happen right on Sunset. Buddy, I love you, buddy. It was awesome.
No, I was doing my lighter.
Purple rice, purple rice. Woo! You said rice?
Rice.
Purple rice.
Do you have real lighters?
I can get them somewhere. God. Wingman, May 26th. Let's go.
And check out my podcast, The Harland Highway. Jamie's going to be on it very soon on YouTube. And check out my stand-up tour schedule at harlandwilliams.com. And enjoy Wingman, you freaks.
Purple rice, purple rice.
Woo!
Anyone's talking, they're blockers. That's not why I came to Hollywood. Fucking backwards. Bullshit.
I hate to break it to you.